With COVID numbers rising day by day and skyrocketing, especially in the Orongo region and in the Commerce region, CLTv decided to pay a visit to our general practitioner here in Chimep to have a sit down with him regarding health measures and guidelines you can take in this pandemic. Let's go inside and find out what the good doctor has to share with us. Come on. Thank you so very much, Doctor, for having us, and welcome. Quickly just introduce yourself to our viewers, please.
My name is Dr. Kudzai John Derecha. I'm a general practitioner as well as an occupational medical practitioner. Qualified in 2004, so I have 16 years experience from the University of Zimbabwe.
Excellent. Now, getting right into it, COVID-19 has seriously impacted our lives in so many ways. What's the best manner to deal with the virus?
Currently, we have a lot of strategies going around, but self-preservation is the best strategy. Each and every one of us needs to look after themselves. We need to protect ourselves, we need to isolate, socially distance, we need to sanitize. That's really the best strategy we have right now, self-preservation, just looking after yourself.
True. Now, with that said, some people apply precautionary measures in public, where it's seen, oh, she's wearing a mask, he's wearing a mask. But the minute you go home and you're behind your closed doors, what should be done, or what should be the norm at home?
It's quite a challenge, because when we're at home, we're with people we know and we're very comfortable. Theoretically, we should always wear our masks, but in practice, it never really happens. I'm a doctor, I'm exposed the whole day, but when I get home and I'm done changing, my mask is off, kids are on my legs. So it's something that actually needs to be addressed. When we're at home, we need to still stick to the guidelines. Though it goes back to the point that if you look after yourself outside, and you don't contract anything, then there will be no need to worry while you're at home. So yeah, that's basically it.
Now, is it advisable to receive visitors, at this point in time, or should we just totally not visit, literally be isolated? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I'll give a two-pronged answer. Culturally, you can't turn away visitors. It's our culture. But at the same time, we really need to protect ourselves. And if you're expecting visitors from high-risk areas, then unless there's really no other option, you should avoid social visits. If it's just a visit to say hi and fun, that can totally be avoided. Funerals, weddings, that's another issue. And as long as we keep to the guidelines and we maintain the distance and then we wear our masks and sanitize, then yes, within limits, visits can be done, but it should be for essential things only.
Now, local residents did not wear masks when the sulfur dioxide was a health threat here in Chimep. How does it differ from that time and now that we're compelled to wear a mask?
Okay. I guess the main issue with the sulfur dioxide was that there was a lot of chest irritation, people got a lot of chest symptoms, but we never really recorded fatalities. So there was not such a big fuss about wearing masks, though they would have done a lot to help, especially when the emissions were high and everyone in town was coughing and everyone was having an itchy throat. Difference comes in now with COVID. People are dying from COVID. So it's imperative that you wear a mask to save yourself.
Yeah.
So that's the major difference in terms of fatality of the exposure.
And do you think that the sulfur dioxide, emissions are still visible in Chimep, or does it still pose a continued threat?
From personal experience, there is a very big change. With the introduction of the sulfuric acid plant, a lot of the emissions have actually been channeled into creating sulfuric acid. So the emissions have really gone down. I get fewer patients come in complaining of irritations, particularly asthmatics who used to struggle a lot when they were admissions. Yeah, you can see the numbers have really come down, so there is a very big change.
All right. Now, before we let you go, because we know you're pretty much busy, just a quick rundown of, what the symptoms are of COVID-19, how you can prevent them, and if you feel like you have, some one or two of these symptoms, where can you go?
Okay. So COVID-19 is a flu. So you will have similar symptoms to a flu. You may have a running nose, you may have a blocked nose. You may have a sore throat, you may have an itchy throat, you may cough, particularly dry cough. But the hallmark of COVID is the fever. That's why everyone is checking everyone's temperature. Most flus will not give you a fever, but COVID will. So once you get a fever, itchy throat and a cough, it's something to think about. But we need to have an exposure. So if you're staying in your house, you're not going around, and you get those symptoms, there's no need to panic. You can call your doctor and brief them on the symptoms, then they will decide whether you need to come in or you need to get tested. Because not everyone with flu symptoms or a fever has COVID, and not everyone needs to be tested. So the important thing is you just call your GP or the local hospital, tell them these are my symptoms. They have a screening tool to say, have you been to Windhoek, have you been to the coast, have you been exposed to anyone, before they decide whether you should go for the COVID test or not. Otherwise, we will just treat it as a normal flu and you will recover completely.
Excellent. And in conclusion, Doctor, what should I do on my personal, on my personal basis, just to, stay healthy amidst the entire pandemic?
Yeah, staying healthy is the same regardless of COVID.
Yeah.
You need to exercise. You need to eat healthy. There are a lot of immune boosters on the market right now, vitamin C based immune boosters. They increase your immunity, so they make you less susceptible not only to COVID-19, but to normal flus and most other illnesses. So as long as you stick to the general health guidelines, it will apply to just your general well-being. Okay. There is no documented cure at this time. So there's been a lot of talk about azithromycin, zinc, hydroxychloroquine.
Yeah, there's a lot going around on social media, the groups.
But nothing has been proved to work. And until such a time when the guidelines are set out to say this is the cure, yes, I don't recommend people to take all those things because it's not proven. And they will have side effects which might actually be worse than the COVID itself.
Excellent. Thank you so very much, Doctor. And from myself and the rest of the CL team, we would just like to say thank you so very much. We appreciate what you're doing because you are literally the frontline workers and we salute you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me. This is Dr. Kudzai John Derecha and keep watching CLTv.